talking ships tonight. And we got Execute from Info Runners here in the chat right now, so that's awesome. We got the Polaris next we're going to check out. I'm a big fan of the Polaris. Haven't seen a Law of the West video for a while.
Hi everyone, I'm Law of the West. It looks like this year's International Aerospace Expo is right around the corner, and they were predicting that the Polaris should be ready by then. So I'm looking forward to blowing all kinds of crap up once I get my hands on this ship. And because of all this anticipation, I've started to come down with a serious case of Polaris fever. And apparently the only cure for it is to watch every video that I can find about this ship until this year's IAE finally comes rolling around. So I wanted to take all this information that I collected and share it with you. For starters, it's a capital class military ship. It's listed as having a standing crew of 12 people. It has an SCM speed of 210 meters a second. Its forward SCM boost speed is 400 meters a second, and its backward boost speed is 230 meters a second. Its nav max speed is 900 meters a second. And its pitch yaw and roll speeds are 18, 20, and 25 degrees a second. And while boosted, they're increased to 23, 24, and 35 degrees a second. For countermeasures, it has 120 decoys and 30 noisemakers. And its hit points are 100 million and 236,000, and no, I did not misplace the decimal point on that one. Its inventory capacity was listed as being 432, but it looks like they're going to increase it to 576. Now, that's crazy if you think about how it originally only had a max capacity of 216. There's one other thing about its cargo bay, and it's that someone managed to spot a tractor beam that was mounted onto this far wall that was nearly completely hidden in the darkness. And from the looks of it, it seems like it's going to be a size 2. Unfortunately, all of the listings for its weapon turrets are outdated because they've all been given an upgrade from what they were last described as being. But I can say that it still has 7 turrets, 2 of them are remote, and the rest of them are going to be manually operated. It's also been given an upgrade to how many missiles it has. It has 16 Arrestor 4 missiles, and you can see them flanking either side of the flight deck. And it has 28 size 10 torpedoes. And it has an additional 12 more Ignite 2 missiles that are kept in a remote turret that's in the back of the ship.
Dudes. You guys remember the 3D modeling that we saw where the guy went in like in a VR setup and looked at the Polaris, man? That was massive. It was awesome. It's on the channel. You guys check it out. Just type up Polaris. You should see it.
Components, it has a capital class shield, power plant, and cooler.
You really
and
got an understanding of how large the Polaris was.
I can't confirm this, but it looks like they've also increased the height and width of the cargo bay doors.
Man.
And apparently they're now 6 meters high and 17 meters long. So you're still not going to be able to get a Nova inside of it because it's 7 meters tall, but they keep teasing that you might be able to have enough wiggle room to get it in, but we'll see. I'm not really a big fan of wiggle room talk. You could take the guns off its small turret, but I don't know if that's going to knock a full meter off its height. I also have a lot of information to share about what its interior is going to be like.
You
it has
probably
2 prison
would,
cells,
you
which is great
would.
because knowing the people that I fly with, I'll probably end up filling one of them before I even take off. In fact, I'm most likely going to end up doing an If It Sits, It Fits video about the prison cells, but it's going to be all about how many unconscious bodies I can stack on top of each other. And the crew quarters are going to have at least 10 bunks in it, and it's also going to have storage lockers, and it's going to connect to a bathroom. It has a captain's quarters that has its own bed and washroom facilities. There's also another private room for the CO, which is basically a smaller version of what the captain's quarters are like. The ship has a total of 12 escape pods. 8 of them are behind the bridge, and 4 more of them are located near the rear hangar. And that's great, because I'm going to keep a live Copian in one of them just for fun. The Polaris has 2 entry points. The first one is through a small docking collar that it has on its starboard side, and the other entrance is through a main elevator that's located in the front right part of the ship. It also has a large armory and has 6 suit lockers and 3 large and 3 standard weapon racks. And on top of that, it has a medical bay that's equipped with a couple of tier 2 medical beds. There's a lot of talk about what you can fit into the hangar, and there's too much wild speculation going on around for me to even comment on that for now. Although it's been confirmed to be able to fit a heavy fighter like the Scorpius, but let's face it, it'll be able to fit a lot more than that. And now that I have a personal hangar, I look forward to seeing what else I could get into it. They've also shown us a bunch of teaser shots of its size 10 torpedoes, and they have an odd yet distinctive look to them.
Like Orson said, how cool is that going to be watching from the bridge? These torps firing off from this beast, man. That's going to be epic, dude. I can't wait to see that.
There's not much to see or talk about yet when it comes to the engine room. The CIG's artists seem to have a penchant for making them look incredible. The last one I saw that made my jaw drop was the Carrax, and the Polaris looks like it's going to end up being even more impressive looking. The flight deck also looks amazing. They managed to keep all 5 of its stations on the deck, and I love how open it is. The only thing I could have asked for is a hologlobe somewhere in there, and that's because this is the one ship that could really use it. There's also a mess hall, and I only have 2 words for you when it comes to the mess hall: pool table. Well, that's going to be it for this video about the old torpedo Dorito. I've been your host, Law of the West. Thanks for watching.
Cool.
And take care.
That's a nice little kind of piece on the Polaris done by Law of the West. I'm going to like that one, definitely. I think there's a lot of people who are very excited about the Polaris. Obviously, it is juicy. Juicy.